Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today, I'm bringing you guys sad news, unfortunately, and I have tried to sit down and film this video many times, and it's just been a little difficult to say the least. Hi, Liam. Are you smelling the flower? Are you smelling the plant? Yeah. It just feels so bizarre to even be filming this video and saying this, but we have lost Grandpa. Grandpa did pass away. And I know so many of you have been asking about Grandpa, who have adored Grandpa since we started sharing YouTube videos, and you guys have fallen in love with Grandpa. He was the sweetest man. So I am coming on with the sad news to let you know that Grandpa did pass. And I just thought I would talk a little bit about Grandpa and some things that I remember from childhood and just Grandpa's life in general. I know you guys knew that he was just a genius. Like, he was an Einstein and just the sweetest, quietest word. He was just very sweet. My grandma and grandpa, who my grandma I speak about all the time, she's the one who got me this necklace for Christmas years and years ago. She passed away. So it's also a very weird thing knowing that my grandma and grandpa now have both passed on. They're together now, which is lovely. It's the one positive thought, but it's just so sad that like both of my dad's parents are now gone. That is heartbreaking. So it's just, that fact is like, it's just hard to sit with. And then like for my dad to lose both his mom and his dad, it's been very difficult. Anyways, my grandma and grandpa adopted my dad and took him in. And something that was very important to my grandpa that I am going to share with you guys today is giving back to the adoption agency, the Adoption Network of Cleveland. As you guys know, we are from the Northeast Ohio area. He would donate every month. So I will link that down below for you guys in case you would like to make a donation in my grandfather's honor. But I just think it's so incredible that, number one, my grandparents adopted my dad. I mean, our family would not be our family if it wasn't for them taking my dad in. And my grandparents were my grandparents, period. Like, I never associated them as my adoptive grandma and grandpa. No, they were my grandma and grandpa. They were just the most incredible people. We went on vacations together and holidays and family days and just my immediate family and my grandma and grandpa. Like, we were just this unit en route, and they have built literally who I am with continuing these traditions with Christmases and Easters and Thanksgivings and family days. And they built that family foundation for me. I was raised with that, and I'm just so thankful for my grandma and grandpa. And it's just really weird to think that they're both not here anymore. It's just so weird. It's worse than weird. Grandpa's life, though, let's talk about him, because he was just an incredible human being. First of all, a lot of you know, and if you don't know, my grandpa worked for NASA in Cleveland, Ohio. And my grandpa was a genius, guys. He was a physicist for NASA. He worked on the Apollo mission, and just so many other projects through NASA, some of which I'm sure he can't tell us or didn't talk about. But I remember he would have these books in his house, these scientific books. And I remember one day I flipped it open. This was when I was a child and a teenager. And he had put lines through the words of these books and highlighted certain things and would explain how this theory is wrong because, and like my grandpa knew, like he knew. So he would cross out errors in these books that like, this is not correct, this is what's correct. And it was just incredible. And he was really into music. He could play so many instruments. He could play the piano. Oh my gosh, my grandma used to love when my grandpa would play the piano. I remember laying on their couch when I was a kid, and she would just go into this complete relaxed mode when my grandpa would start playing the piano. And he played so many different instruments, the trumpet, the trombone, like I could go on and on. So like, he was a genius plus was a musician. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. So we used to take lots of trips together, and just, we would have our family days. Like, Christmas is a really big deal to me. And you guys know that on Christmas Eve, we would go to my grandparents' house, and I was always so excited. My mom would get off work. She would work half days on Christmas Eve, and my dad was with me and my brother. And I would wait by that front window, jumping up and down, waiting for my mom to come down the driveway. And when she did, we were so excited. We wanted to all load in the car and head to Grandma and Grandpa's house. And we would do Christmas Eve as a family. We would have, you know, prime rib dinner. And it's just, those moments were very special to me. And my grandpa was always the one that was always photographing all these events. So all of our birthdays and holidays, you would see my grandpa there with his big camera taking pictures of everything. And he was just the biggest support to my grandma as well when she was alive, and he was just wonderful. He captured so many of our family moments together. One of my favorite family memories besides like holidays and things like that is we would always go to Cedar Point. Like once a year we would book one of the cabins right on Lake Erie at Cedar Point. One of the funny memories that I had of my grandpa, because grandpa was honestly a very quiet, reserved individual. Hi, Liam. If you are familiar with Cedar Point, they are known for their coasters, thrill coasters. Grandpa was not into thrill coasters, but occasionally we would get him on one. And the one roller coaster, I was like, I don't know, 11 years old or something like that. I was sitting next to my mom and Grandpa was in front of us. We were on the Gemini. That man did not swear. I personally did not ever really hear him swear. We went up the hill and he was white knuckling the little bar. We went up the hill and over. I heard that man yell so many swear words. I looked at my mom in shock and we just started busting up laughing because Grandpa just didn't do that. He didn't swear. That was not his thing. And it was just the funniest thing. And then when we got off the ride, Grandpa started busting up laughing. We were just in hysterics. My poor little Liam keeps running in here because he hears me talking and he hears me talking to you guys on the camera. We would also have sleepovers at my grandma and grandpa's. And the one thing I remember is Grandpa would wake up early in the morning. He would put on his black coffee and he would walk down the driveway and grab his newspaper. And he would just sit in his chair and read the newspaper every morning with his black coffee. And that was his ritual. And I really liked that. And I almost wish we would go back to simple newspapers, because it just reminds me of a simpler time, and I just adored that for him. And then my grandma would finally wake up. She would sleep in. She would wake up and then she would sit on the couch and have her coffee. She would have a grapefruit and then read the newspaper once my grandpa was finished with it. And I just remember that being so calming. Part of me was like, come on guys, wake up, let's go, I want to play. And then Grandpa would take us to this amazing park in Bay Village. It had like all these castles. I actually filmed it once. Larry and I went to see it the last time we went to Ohio. And then there was also the Nature and Science Museum. They used to take us there and that was really fun. My grandma and grandpa also used to love watching Harry Potter. I think they read the books. In fact, they did get me my first book set of Harry Potter. I don't know if it was my first Harry Potter books, but I actually really struggled reading as a kid. Like I didn't enjoy reading. And then my grandma and grandpa got me the first set of 4 Harry Potter books. They loved watching Harry Potter together. Not only did they love watching Harry Potter together, but they used to watch Dr. Phil together. My grandma was a psychologist, so she would watch Dr. Phil a lot. And I wish she would have been alive to see me go on Dr. Phil. I think that would have blown her mind that Larry and I were on Dr. Phil. Larry and Grandpa both worked at NASA. They were both there for 6 years at the same time, like together, but they didn't know each other. They worked obviously in different departments. And they used to sit at the dinner table after dinner and just talk all things NASA and just everything under the sun that you can think of. My grandpa and Larry used to have the most in-depth conversations. And there was one time we were in the car and this always stuck out to me. In fact, I brought it up to my dad because I think I did it to my dad recently. I had him in the car with me. Was it my dad or was it Larry? I don't remember who it was now, but I hit the brakes hard and I grabbed my arm and I like put it out in front of my passenger to like stop them from going forward, which is probably not the best. If you get into an accident, it might break your arm. But my grandpa did that for me when I was a kid. We were coming up to a light and I was in the front seat and he hit the brakes hard and we went forward. And he stuck his arm out to prevent me from going up into the dashboard. I did have a seatbelt on, but it was very protective and I was a child and I still remember that and it stuck with me to this day. Thinking about all of Grandpa's accomplishments, who he was as a person, who he was as a father, who he was as a grandfather, a friend, a brother. It's incredible. He had an incredible life and I'm thankful that I got to know him. I'm thankful that he adopted my dad and that, you know, we had a life together and a family together. and it's just an incredible experience. But I did want to come on and talk to you guys and let you know, because I know that he was family to a lot of you. You guys loved my grandpa. You would always ask about him. And yeah, I just thought you guys should know and be up to date and everything. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I'm bringing this video to you guys in sad news. I did postpone the original vlog that was supposed to go out today. I have pushed that back and filmed this instead to update you guys and let you guys know what's going on. Thank you so much for watching. We love you guys, and we will see you again in the next one.